It's coming. It's coming. We're going to get through this thing. Do y'all know anytime there's a lot of chaos, there's opportunity? Yeah. You know you're going to be able to look back and tell your grandchildren you survived the pandemic and got rich? Yeah. Do you know you're telling a story right now, you just don't know because it's still unfolding? Yeah. Do you know that your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren one day are going to look at you and say, what did you do to change our legacy? And you're going to say, I survived the pandemic. I drove 12 hours. I got my mind right. I got my money right. And now my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren are starting with a head what? Start. You got to remember, I know it gets uncomfortable sometimes, and I know the pandemic can be rough, and I know we got to social distance, we got to take pictures with a 6-foot sign, we got to stand on both sides. I swear, man, I want to jump up and hug you so bad. I really do. I'm a hugger, you know what I mean? But we got to be careful. We got to be responsible at the same time, but we got to be making money. We got to be wealthy. We have to put ourselves in a position where we are going to win and get through this thing regardless of what. You got to stay focused right now because this is when wealth is created. It's always created in chaos. Yes. Does that make sense? Wealth is always created in chaos. I'm a big historian. If you study anybody that's went through a lot of stuff, I'm talking about like the industrial age, where bridges weren't popular, so car makers the car was kind of, people were skeptical about the vehicle. If it was too heavy and a bridge would collapse, so they had to take an elephant back in the day and prove to everybody, if the elephant can cross this bridge, then your car can make it over this bridge and y'all can get rid of that horse and buggy, and the car industry took off. But somebody had to prove that the bridge wouldn't what? Collapse. Somebody had to have enough belief to manufacture these cars, and I'm gonna get an elephant and I'm gonna show the world that if an elephant can do it, your Ford can do it, or your car can do it. Somebody had to be the trendsetter, and now we're driving cars like it's nothing. Am I right? Mr. Hershey from Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hershey's chocolate. He did not develop the chocolate first. He developed the city first and said, I'm going to find something, an industry, a product. I'm going to take this land and develop it, and then I'm going to go find something that's going to bring people to my land development. He wasn't rich first. He cut the trees out first and said, I'm going to build a company so big I will provide jobs and a couple of plants for the whole city. Hershey, Pennsylvania was born out of a man who said, I see nothing now, but I see something later. See, vision is the ability to see something behind your eyes first. A lot of you guys, man, I'm going to tell you the problem with most people. Your vision is horrible. It's not your fault. It is by design to keep your vision cloudy with a lot of propaganda, a lot of bad news. Keep that phone in your hand, stay on social media, be addicted to the notifications, be addicted to all these things. It's by design so you won't stay focused on wealth. And if you don't stay focused on wealth, they stay focused on wealth from you. Yeah. It's by design. That's by design. So I had to wake up one day and say, wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm not getting played. Let me make sure I'm not getting played. Let me make sure that when I use my time and I maximize my time, I'm going to benefit from my time. See, one thing I knew, and I learned this a long time ago, I wasn't going to work and be broke. I can't do both. Now, if I'm broke, it better be because I'm not working. That would be a decision. But if I'm working, I ain't going to be broke. Because if that's the case, what am I doing it for? So, when I made that decision that I was not going to be broke and busy, I got busy, launched my busyness, and I ain't been broken forever. Does that make sense? There's a difference between busy and busyness. See, some of y'all talk income shifting. You talk it. You know the verbiage. You know the language. You know all of that. But you don't believe that your Schedule C at the end of the year going to save you no taxes. You don't believe it. Because if you did believe it, you would be more responsible with that tax file. Charles, you know the problem? Not quote unquote with your training. Most people are poor students. They're going to go right back to being them. I heard them, but I ain't put my gas mileage in. I heard them, but I ain't taking no picture, no receipt. I heard them. It was a great training, but you ain't going to change nothing. You don't even have tax spot on your phone. I'm not going to do it, but I could check. I could be like, show it to me. Look, right now, the internet. It ain't even on your phone. You ain't using it. Let me give you a financial fact. Write this down. Tax savings is net profit. People don't know what that means. Let me tell you what that means. Tax savings is net profit. If I earn money, is earned income taxed? Yes. That's the way the government works. W-2, 1099, y'all know the rules, right? If I have earned income is taxed. That's how the government get their piece. Now the percentages vary, but earned income is what? Tax. Jessica, how am I doing so far? Tax professional. I mean, am I using the right? Everything's good. All right. Tax savings is net profit. Tax savings goes in your pocket and is earned strategically because you lowered the money that they get, so who got it? You got it. Without getting taxed. So if I make $80,000 a year and I deduct $22,000 a year, then I'm taxed on the balance. But if I deducted this on things that I was going to do what? Anyway, that money, in other words, my taxable income would have been higher, and I'd have got taxed on the 80 if I didn't have all these what? Why you ain't taking pictures of them? Come on. That's net money that the government's not taking from you because you already spent it eating. That's called a necessity. Raise your hand, you got to eat. That's a necessity. My son just turned 17? Yeah. Good Lord, the boy's 17. Do y'all think he over there on the wheels of steel just because I need him? Nope. He working. Turn me up, Kai. Turn him down, Kai. Give him a beat, Kai. Bring her up, Kai. Volume, Kai. Too high, too low. Paycheck. Now he ain't gonna get it. He ain't gonna get it, but I'm gonna cut it. Spoon, he ain't getting that check. He don't need $500 for these couple of hours, but I'm gonna cut it. Because I want him to have an advantage. Now, by law, it's going in his account. Just ain't gonna break the law. With his name what? On the account. Custodial on the account. The direct deposit, he gets paid twice a month. It will be there, direct deposit. Does that make sense? Yeah. But that don't mean he got the debit card attached to it. So Dad took $1,000 a month, $500 every 2 what? And lowered my taxes by 12 what? 12. Winning. Net what? Because it's in his. So I walk away with an extra 12 and the government say, cool, you got an employee. But the smart thing about the home-based business, the employee eat off me anyway. So it ain't an extra hire. You see the difference? He got to get the PlayStation from that account. I can't write off the PlayStation. Tax bite ain't going. You can't say who? Sony. Where? Walmart. What? PlayStation. For what? Christmas. They're like, no, that ain't for the business. You're stretching. But I can say salary, $500 on the 15th. Salary, $500 on the 30th. Makai, you want a PlayStation? Yeah. Here's your debit card. So it was written off with pre-tax dollars. People aren't. The reason y'all not listening to Charles's training is because you've forgotten how to be a good student. See, we ain't been in school in a long time. So you forgetting how to be a good student. Back in the day, if we'd have taught you this stuff when you was in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you'd be a beast with finances. Because back then your mind was sharp, you didn't go through no divorce, your heart wasn't broke. Not really broke yet. We ain't talking about the flesh. We talking about shattered. You ain't been through a whole bunch of stuff. But we'd have caught you with this stuff freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. You'd be like, shoot, I'm a beast with my finances. So we got to come up here, and I got to get on you about being a poor steward of your money, because for so long, you ain't been worried about it. We just trying to get by. See, some of y'all talk income shifting. Some of us live it. Some of us live it. Brian, can I hire my niece, my nephew? What if I don't have a child, this and that? The answer is yes, but you're missing the point. Now you're creating an extra expense. The reason that the best one is the child is because that's where funds are already what? Going. Right. So people say, now Brian, I can handle my niece and nephew. Well, yeah, if your nieces and nephews, if you're already kind of doing that anyway, you need to put them on what? On payroll. I'm not here to talk about hiring your children. I'm talking about your mindset. Net tax savings is net profit. I put an extra 12 grand in my pocket. If I don't pay him, the government taxes the 12. I gotta pay him. Let me tell y'all something. I'm headed to the other side now. I'm just being straight with y'all. You can start seeing things in your life and talking to certain circles where you know you headed to the other side. I'm headed to the other side. Charles and Judy, they headed to the other side. We're having certain conversations with our lifestyle, family, investments. I'm going to introduce y'all to some people I met the other day. That circle starting to form where when you ready, we already got the circle for you. We already got the circle for you. When you ready, we got the circle for you. Oh, here's an excellent, he'll do your trust fund for your grandchild. Oh, she handled this. She do commercial real estate. Christy got connections. Charles got connections. I got connections. We ready, but you got to get ready for this stuff. But you got to be serious about your finances. The universe rewards those who treat. You get more money when you start doing better with what you got. Right. Don't mess around and get a whole bunch of money and you horrible with $100. Come on now. You're gonna be bad with 100,000. I'm telling you, look, I'm not the wealthiest person in the world, but my cash flow is sick. My cash flow is sick. My cash flow is sick. I got the little alert on my phone if a certain amount comes out, just so I know, like, wait a minute, now who was that? You know what I'm saying? But I don't even check my accounts. I don't even check them. Because I know the money. When I pay myself for 1 month, my salary, everybody just go in their account, get your money, AT&T, whatever. I didn't got that many bills. Seriously. ADT, you know, your average light, gas, water. Draft your money, leave me alone. I'm not bothered. Y'all ain't gonna bother me all month. I don't have time to worry about you. Is it in there? Is it? Did we? That do. I'm not doing that. I pay myself. The first check takes care of that. The second check takes care of me. Does that make sense? No, I'm sorry. The first check takes care of me. The second check takes care of them. Because if you spend all your month in your checkbook, seeing what's coming, take that off auto draft. It may not be there. This and that. Look, I was broke. Y'all talking about COVID. I had tuberculosis. That was serious too. You don't want tuberculosis. That junk hurt all the time. Ain't no vaccine. You can't get on no defibrillator. You can't go see nobody about tuberculosis. Is real. But you know what I had the wherewithal to do, Kayla? I said, you know what? All these bills piled up. The envelope was getting high. I gotta put 2 of these on auto draft. Because the less I worry about y'all, the more you'll get out of my mind, and the more I can focus on making money. Yeah. So, true story, I put like, you know, anybody y'all got the trash bill? My trash bill come every 3 months, right? I put the bill that I could afford, like trash bill ain't but $50 every 3 months. I was like, all right, I'm gonna put that on auto draft, right? And then I put like something real small, like my water bill was like $30 a month. I'm gonna put that on what? Put that on auto draft. Now that's at least two down. Now I still got to worry about this rent. I still got to worry about these lights. I had to worry about the ones that surprise you. You know what I'm talking about? The ones that got a meter. I can't put those on auto draft. But I worked my way right up. Then after a while, I looked up one day, and I had so much money coming in, I was like, you know what? I ain't got to pay nobody. Draft the account. I'm focused. When your cash flow gets to the point where 1 month takes care of 8, you are ahead. Way ahead. If the country shuts down again right now, we can't work, nobody can go places, the economy down, this and that, this and that. I got everything covered for years. Years. Does that make sense? I'm not bragging, I'm telling you where you're headed. I've been here a year. A year. Hold up how many fingers we're supposed to give our business. Who knows? 5. 5. Don't even start gauging it. Born. Who know the rest? Crawl, walk, jog, run. We ain't even running yet. 5 years. Make It Work Real ain't going to take off big time for 5 years. Like Chuck, when you have like 100 NDs, and if y'all think MWR is where it is now, is where it's going to stay, you sadly mistaken. I talk to Brian House a couple of times a week, and we just planning and planning and planning and planning. Y'all gonna hear some huge announcements come up in the next 2 weeks or so. That's the smallest announcement of them all. But you got to get what? Serious. And I'll be honest with you. Tax matters a real indication of whether or not you understand this business. Because it's so simple. And if you're not doing it, you ain't serious. You ain't. Because that's why you can't peak interest that well. Because in your heart, see, you can't lie to yourself. The reason you can't peak interest that well is because really you ain't doing the business. So what it is. That's why you're afraid if somebody asks you something, you might not what? No. And that's why when I get on your calls and I talk to people, it ain't nothing they can't ask me. And I have people that challenge me all the time. I love it. I love it. Had a guy yesterday on the three-way close. Mr. Beane, I heard you, I saw it, I checked it out. I love when I hear people's tone. I love it. I heard you, I saw it, I checked it out. Just got a couple of questions. Yes, sir. What's going on? I'm trying to wrap my head around the home-based business. No problem. How can I help you wrap your head around it? For a guy like me, this is what he said. For a guy like me, W-2, normal guy, not like you. How will it benefit somebody like myself? He thought that the energy and tone of his voice was going to change my knowledge on the subject matter. See, what y'all do is you let the energy and tone of his voice make you reach for more knowledge. The way he's saying it, it must be something I'm missing. No, you ain't missing nothing. Sir, did you see the presentation? Yeah. And I make him answer the questions. So let me ask you a question. Do you have a home or an apartment? Yes. Do you have square footage? Yes. We're talking on your cell phone, correct? Yes. You have internet at home? Yes. Y'all know me, I'm just breaking. So I got 18 yeses. So on my 19th question, guess what the answer was? Yes. Do you think this home-based business will help you? He said, yes. See, sometimes they just want to make it harder than it is. But because I got posture, I'm not reaching for answers. The answer is in the presentation, sir. Just because you get funky with it, don't make me more inferior. Because I got posture. See, some of y'all don't have posture because you're not working every aspect of the business and getting your mistakes out the way. You're too scared. Listen, write this down. If you weren't afraid, it would be done. Are y'all cold now? Yeah. Okay, yeah. I made it really cold. I see some people want hot, some people cold. Crank it up a little bit, maybe to 67. So, if you weren't afraid, it would already be what? It'd be done. Once you get through your fears and understand the legacy that you're leaving, nothing is going to stop you from learning the business via experience. Stop watching videos only and implement what you see in the what? Videos. I'm here to leave a legacy. This is my sister. Y'all give it up for Miss Monet here. I just met Monet. That's my sister. My father passed away in February of this year. And then, you know, things happen when parents pass. Me and Monet met each other. It's a beautiful story, actually. It's not one of those. It's actually a beautiful story. This is my sister, and she has been a family tree, like, she keep up with all the ancestry and everything, and she showed me some stuff, just a blessing of showing, here's Kai, here's Brian, here's my parents, here's my dad, here's our father, here's his brother, here's my grandfather, great, all the way up to 1720. Wow. Hey, when they go to 1720, she's like, yep, we just scrolling. 1720. So she get the what's called the Census Bureau. She know how to upload the census documents and see. My great grandfather passed. My grandfather was only 6 when his father passed. So that's why I got to understand why I'm just having to understand, okay, that's why he didn't have a father figure. Because I heard stories about my grandfather from my father. So I'm like, okay, you start to really understand where you're from. I'm like, that's why, okay, his dad died. So he didn't have a father figure. So that's why he treated my father like that. You see what I'm saying? Because I didn't have the best relationship with my grandfather. So I got to make sure that don't happen to, you understand? Legacy. Brian, what's your point? Say it. Legacy. What's your point, Brian? Say it. Legacy. That's right. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and get on Ancestry. I'm making a point. This Makai down here, right? You can scroll up. Now, of course, it stops with Makai, and it better be that way for a while. So right now, this is the end, okay? But if I scroll this thing up, I gotta at least know that there's a what starts with an F under him. Future. There's a future. Okay, so this is 1720, this is the 1800s, this is all that. When I scroll Makai up and there's nothing there, Dad is here to put something down here. So when Makai go all the way to the top and he got children and great-children and great-children and great-grandchildren and I'm gone, my great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren are going to be like, who was Beane? I told Makai that he go, Abraham Beane. I told Makai, that's when you step up and say, man, y'all granddaddy was something else. Y'all granddaddy was something else. He the reason we got all this. Because guess what? That's what the Crump's saying. That's my 1720 people. The Crump's are saying to their children, Mr. Crumb, that's the descendants of our side of that family, CRUM. Guess what they looking down for about 5 generations saying? It all started with Grandpa who? Grandpa Crumb. So you got to shift it up. So your folks will be saying it all started with who? So-and-so. I want your great-grandchildren saying, man, so-and-so, something else. And that's who? Everybody say, me. I told them, I said, Kai, it's going to start with us. And all this stuff I'm learning, all that's cool. But when I scroll you up, we got to build your future. Make sense? Yeah. But you got to take this thing serious. You got to take this thing serious. Some of y'all not taking it serious. Write this down. I'm going back to Charles training for a minute. Don't fear an audit. Don't fear an audit. Fear being unprepared. People get audited all the time. It ain't a big deal, guys. I know, I'm telling you. Now, I was unprepared, so I had for a long time feared the audit. Don't fear an audit. They can pull your number and say, hey, we just need to see if what you reported is what it is. That's all an audit is. Certain things trigger it. Sometimes it's random. That's all it is. Now, let me tell you something. The Schedule C is the most audited form. That's you. When you file on a Schedule C with a form 1040, that's the most audited form. Because you know what the government's saying? that little home-based business stuff, they ain't keeping up with it. Right. They ain't keeping up with it. They ain't keeping up with it. So it's easy to pull one of them and go get 8, 9, 10 grand back from them easy. The government looking for money.
Yes, they are.
So here come the who? Here come the what? Here come the artists. See, you got to know the game that's being played. Let's get some of them Schedule C's. I guarantee you we can get them. 5 grand from her, 8 grand from her, 5 grand from him, 20 grand from them. Let me see your receipts. You like, no problem. Bling, tax bot, PDF file, with photos, what, when, where, why, and who. They're like, oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Get out my life now. Leave me alone now. I ain't the one to play with. I'm part of making what real financial. People that work with you do this for us. Y'all missed that. People that work with you do this for us. Make sense? Yes. Don't fear the audit. Fear not being prepared. So after a while, you'll graduate to a point where you're not on the Schedule C anymore. You're paying yourself a salary. You got extra employees. You got a staff. And now corporations don't get audited like Schedule C's do. That's a totally different thing. Because now they know you really in legit what? Business. See, they think y'all playing around. That's why they come after Schedule C's. Because they know it's easy to just pull your car. Make sense? There's levels to this. Write that down. There's levels to everything. You got to become a good student again, guys. You got to become a good student again. When Charles says something, when Chuck says something, when I say something, take that stuff, go review it, and make sure we're talking to you on some of the stuff that does not feel good. We're talking to you. And make sure you correct it. Make sense?
Yes.
I'm going to give you a few goals. I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story real quick. So, I haven't told a lot of people, but I'm looking at buying some acreage. Right? Not 5, not 10, not 15, some acreage. So, I was like, okay, let me go a different route with this acreage if I'm going to build on it, because it's going to be more like a complex. Like, I'm calling it the B&B experience. Okay? It's going to be more like a complex. So the guy I'm talking to, very, very, very wealthy gentleman. Very wealthy out of New York. I mean, wealthy out of New York. So you don't waste wealthy people's time. You don't waste nobody's time. It's definitely his money, that kind of money. You just get to the point, right? We talking. I said, I'm looking at, I want to know about these trust funds and how to protect my assets as they grow. He said, you're a smart man. Nicest guy in the world on the phone. He said, you're a smart man. He said, let me ask you a question. He said, how many acres is the property? I said, well, roughly 20. He said, okay, you looking at building a 10,000 square foot? I said, no, I don't need all that. I said, the house, it's not the house that I'm building that's going to be monstrous or anything. I said, it's going to be a nice, modest house, but the land and the cabins around the lake and the container homes and the guest house and my car carrier with the apartment, my hangar with the apartment on top. So when some of y'all come, we have retreats at the house. About 10 of y'all can stay on the campus. See, so some of y'all can stay in the back of the container home in the apartment. Some of y'all can stay around the lake. We get the paddle boats and go fishing. Some of y'all can stay at the hillside walk out, and some of y'all can stay in my hangar at the top. It's gonna all have living quarters on top. I said, so my house gonna be small, but the quarters gonna be dope. He said, okay, when you finish with it, you're looking at about 3, 4 million. I said, yeah. He said, okay. He said, I understand you collect vintage cars. I said, yeah, we're gonna have a couple of rallies there on the property. I'm going somewhere. Y'all pay attention. He said, I said, we're gonna have a couple of rallies on the property. You know, I have certain parts where people can drive up, we do barbecues and cookouts, stuff like that. He said, okay. When someone sues you, he said like it was a sneeze. He didn't set me up. He didn't prep me for it. It was just like his ABCs.
Right.
He said when someone sues you, we want to make sure you protect it. He said, notice I said when, not if. So I let him. I'm a good listener. I let him finish. He said, so what we're gonna do? We're gonna layer it where you're 7 or 8 removed from the property. He said, yeah. He said, here's what we're going to do. The property will be in a trust. When you have your cruise-ins, you're going to rent your estate. You're going to rent the property and so you're going to rent it with your rental company. But your event planning company is hosting it. So far, Brian Beane ain't on nothing. The rental company going to sign a lease that the cruise-in guys can have signed with the event planning company. Then he put like another layer in here, and then I'm like down here. So 4 or 5 companies are being used to host this event on my property. And it's really just all us, family and friends. But we all got to sign through the company that we make. So when somebody hurts their leg, they can't come after me. They got to talk to the event planning company. They got to talk to the real estate trust. They got to talk to the rental company that rented it in the first place. And you got to sign a waiver because you're on the property. They won't even get to me. They'll never get to me. I was like, I got it. We're going to layer everything, these corporations, between me and the establishment. He said, yeah. He said, that's what we do. I said, this is deep. He said, let me tell you something. Everybody's going to be on your land smiling in your face.
Come on now.
Excited. Look at these cars. Look at this lake. Look at these paddle boats. The boy got 4-wheelers and golf carts. He got a walking trail. And they not happy for you. He said, so what I'm going to do, this one we paying like friends. He said, I'm going to have you so protected. Whether they hate you or not, they can't get nothing from you.
Come on now.
My man. He said, Brian, let me tell you something. People are going to look at you and say, he didn't work hard for it. He don't deserve this. He don't deserve that. So they're going to think of a way to try to get some of what you got without working. That's the goal. In America, guys, the name of the game is, how can I get some money for nothing? That's how people think. So those of us that work hard and get it, you got to be just as careful about the person who's saying, how can I be like you, but I don't want to do nothing. I'm telling you. See, Brian, how did you start thinking like this? Well, experience. I've been audited. I know how to take this stuff serious. I know how to take this stuff serious. And it starts with Charles's basic training of you just being responsible by not giving IRS so much what? Money. Some of y'all are going to have to go through it one time to understand what I'm telling you. You're going to have to go through it. You're going to file, and you didn't keep up with your records. They're going to pull your number, and you got to show what you got, and hopefully your tax bill won't be as bad as mine was when I was 26. I'm telling you, they're going to pull your number, and you need to be ready. You got to go through it, and you'll come out of it fine. That ain't going to be the end of the world, but I'm trying to keep that from happening. I went through it. So why am I talking to a dude about a trust fund on a property I don't even own yet? Because that's where I'm headed. You don't wait till you get the crib. Like, now, all right, now what I do? No, you get the crib under the proper pretense. So I don't wait till we close and be like, now how do I protect this? No, you should have put that in the trust. See how that works? I'm trying to stretch, try my vocabulary. I'm stretching your vision to understand that when your child, when you move their name up to the top of the tree, and all this is blank, you're the one up here responsible for making sure everybody remember who you are. But see, we don't view it that way. We're still worried about the people above us not doing what they were supposed to do. Well, when does it stop? I can't look at my folks and be like, y'all, I wish y'all had known it. They didn't know. You can't blame nobody for something they didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, but you can do better. You can make sure that it don't trickle down no further than that generation. I can't blame my parents for what they didn't know. Especially they didn't have the same resources and opportunities. Our folks didn't have all the resources and stuff y'all got now. We can just go Google trust fund, pull it up, a whole bunch of them, just do your research. They had to go to the card catalog. If they could read. Y'all know we ain't been removed long. It ain't been long now. Come on now.
Not at all.
So y'all be expecting all these grandiose results. You putting too much pressure on your parents and your grandparents and your great-grandparents. They did a good enough job to get out of that situation so you can be in this room. Now you got to do the rest now.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, let me get it.
That's good, bro.
4 financial goals. I'm going to take a break. Yeah, I'm training to. When you think you're losing the audience, whether I'm losing y'all or not, you talk about somebody else. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, boy, when y'all hear Christy, it's over. Christy after me, so you put the pressure on the next person. That's a tip. So now I got y'all off me. You feel me, Tracy? Y'all off me now. Y'all on the Christy. Yes. Hey, y'all here see Christy come up with them shoes. Boy, Christy had them shoes on. Christy gonna come up here with stunt with them dogs on shoes. Boy, you hear me, cash flow? You better bring them. All right. That's how you got in my advanced coaching courses and stuff. I teach how to do that. You got to defer. So get off me for a minute. Let's put it on Christy. All right. 4 financial goals. 1, develop your mini emergency fund. Mini as in miniature, M-I-N-I. That's goal number 1. See, when you do these things, a prospect can't tell you nothing.
That's right.
Nothing. Because you like, my finances are getting better. I didn't say you had to be rich. Right. I said your finances are getting what? Better. So if the path is starting to work for you and you just starting to see a little bit more light, the prospect on the phone can't shake you because you're starting to see that it what? It works. Now I may not know the answer to your question. I may not understand everything about you, sir, and this and that. But my finances are improving. So if you don't do it, it ain't on me. I know my finances are getting what? Better. Your miniature, M-I-N-I, mini emergency fund is $3,000 cash. $3,000 cash. Let me tell you guys something, man. Your stress level is a direct reflection of your miniature emergency. Do y'all know most people walking around stressed? Because if one thing happened, it's over. This whole thing rent behind. If one snafu, and a snafu is something like 500 plus that you got to all of a sudden what? Come up with. Rent behind, car note tripping. That means your cash flow is what was called a net 7 or a net 30. Like you want your cash flow to be like net 90, where for 90 days you good. Just this check, you good for 3 months. That's net 90. When you net 7, that means that's this week. If I don't get paid this week, my life what? Spirals. Give you a harsh reality. Some people are net 24. 24. Net 24. Meaning what we get today is what feeds the family tonight. You ever been to Lowe's or Home Depot? Yeah. Guys go out there looking for, just seeing if you need work when? Today. That's net 24. Net 24 hours. Like, sir, is anything I'm like, man, I don't need no paint. You don't need nothing done today, sir. Like, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. That's net 24. If you got 3,000 cash that you can touch, it calms you a little bit for life's unexpected occurrences. Because you're like, all right, I got $3,000. It was for that. Does that make sense? I remember, it's funny, Christy's AC compressor went out, my AC compressor went out. You know, we live here in Georgia, right? Like 4 of my friends, all of our AC compressor went out over like 2 months. I'm like, dang, what's, like, just, you know, you can't be in Georgia with no AC in the summer. You know, these things, the small one, what do they call it, unit, whatever, BTUs, whatever, the small one and the big, like together, man, you can spend about $4,500 to $7,000. That's what the emergency is for. You can't be like, now this the old you reacting. Ah, oh, damn. $3,000? Where we gonna get that? When you've been putting it away, I'm gonna tell you when you know your life changing. True story. When that AC go out, you be like, I got it. I'm serious. You're gonna know your life changing when something happens and you smile. Right on. I got it. Yeah, no problem. And then you start feeling good about yourself. Let me see. I want the cheap one. Give me the most expensive one. Because you've been preparing. When emergencies happen, they're inconveniences when you have money. Make sense? Yeah. Some people are net 24. Don't let that be you. So we got to get our $3,000 ministry emergency. Now watch this. Some of y'all are like, okay, I got to work harder. I got to go get the cash for my $3,000. What y'all don't realize, some of y'all already got it because you got it in the tax savings, but you don't recognize it yet because you haven't really done your tax body stuff to see it. So you got to see that the $16,000 Charles put up saved him this. You understand? So that's in his account. That's why it's called, it's a total 100% net profit. Tax savings is 100% what? Net profit. So you already have it, but you're not looking at your finances the right way, so you're still spending it in a way that you don't see it. Some of y'all, you're profiting from year to year. Well, it's your first year. You're going to see that you got the $3,000 in tax savings. But you got to sit down with your CPA so she or he can show you that line item. Like, this is how much you get. Or you should have that you're not giving what? Away. Ministry emergency. That's how much? 3,000. Quote, your life is a direct reflection of your what? Your stress is a direct reflection of your emergency fund. If you didn't get that, put that. Your stress is a direct reflection of your emergency fund. I had an emergency come up on me about right before I got to Making Wealth Real. I had what's called a lien was following me on my property. A lien. A lien was following me. I've been in my house 15 years. I'm telling you, man, this is how stuff happened. So a guy comes to my house, Chuck D, knock on my door. Like, man, you want to sell your house? I'm like, nah, what the hell make you think that? Because it's up for auction. I'm talking about the Brian Beane, not the broke one. I'm about this one. This one. This ain't no broke story. This 2018. It's up for what? Now normally, because I've been there before, when it's going up for foreclosure, it's because you ain't made no payments. So you know they coming. I ain't selling. We ain't selling. We're going to work it out. I've been there. Because my payments was what? Late. That was the broke Brian. This Brian, 2018. Hey, bro, you want to sell? Hell no, why? Because you up on the steps. You know the step. That's the option step. Like, let me get that one. Let me get that one. I'm up on the steps. Did the research. When I got the house 15 years ago, some long story, $65,000. The person, when I got the house, there was a second mortgage put on it. But watch this. In the Wild Wild West, which is the 2008 and 9, I'm making payments, but they're not applying it properly. So a mortgage company put a lien on my house, and they called the lien, so it's up for foreclosure. Not because of non-payment, but because of improper allocation. $65,000 or I'm out. 2 years ago. Shit. And that's what you call a true emergency. Step 2. Write it down. True. Miniature is AC. True is house. 65K. 65K. Because I talked to my attorney, they had legal ground. I was like, what? How, like, Brian, they can call the lien whenever, this and that. And what happens is they catch you where you ain't got what? You got time to be fighting it. Your ass is out in 2 weeks. I ain't got, because law take too long. You're like, you know what? I don't feel like this is right, but you know what? That's what your true emergency is. 6 months worth of your lifestyle. 6 months. How many?
6 months.
6 months. So, that's why I always tell you guys, prepare for war in times of peace. So when that popped up, I'm like, man, thank God. I mean, you just been preparing. You just keep 6 months worth of your lifestyle stacked up, at least minimum. That way, if anything ever happened, you got the mortgage times 6. Make sense?
Yes.
So on that $65,000, like, damn, Brian, what's your mortgage? That was the whole second. I just went ahead and paid the whole second off. Like, y'all leave me alone altogether. Here. Right. So now, that's why y'all, when I be like, y'all, I ain't got no debt, this and that. I chunked one of them. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm like, that's why I say I'm not the wealthiest person in the world, but my cash flow is sick. I don't owe nobody nothing. All I gotta do now is worry about this tax thing. That's it. Just keep the tax thing straight. You're gonna have to worry about that, but you're gonna have pros helping you. Make sense?
Yes.
Goal number 1. Many. In my hand, right? How much is that?
3,000.
Goal number 2.
True.
Your lifestyle multiplied by 6. Watch how many of y'all. Watch how fear set in now. You scared to go add that up. Add it up. It's just a number. It ain't gonna hurt you. It's only between you and the paper. Add that up. I know mortgage, kid, daycare, this and that. All right, I need $6,000 times 6. And you gotta do that. You gotta know where you are so won't nothing surprise you. Y'all scared to do that. Okay, I need $36,000. It ain't that you need to win. Now, that's what you need to be stashing away. Make sense? It's called asset allocation. So now, every time I get paid, I'm putting 200 toward miniature, 100 toward true. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna start giving them each a little percentage. Now your posture gonna change because you're like, okay, you're just gonna feel better if you got 500 on the side. You're gonna feel better, I'm telling you.
Sleep well.
You're gonna sleep better, I'm telling you, because now at least you're being fiscally responsible. Now when the prospect call you, see this people think I have an attitude or I can handle anything. I can because this prospect can't tell me how I feel. Brian, that's you. No, I felt this way when I was broke, y'all. I've been doing this 25 years, 20 plus years. So even when I was broke, I was like, I know where I'm going because I have my goals. So he couldn't tell me how to feel. So now that you're getting responsible, you're like, okay, Brian said go add up all my bills. But see, what we do, we've been trained, run from the what? Bills. We don't like that conversation, so it's uncomfortable. And that comes a lot of time from your tree. That's the so your way you think about money coming from the tree. So this was passed to that was passed to this, and now in your house, you passed into yours. No, we don't discuss bills. We don't discuss bills. We don't look at numbers. We don't do that. And you passing that instead of, Kyle, let's look at these bills. Let me show you how this works. You got paid today. You getting paid next week. Here's how this works. Take 30%. Do what you want to do with it. Take 30% for long-time savings. Take 30% for short-time savings. And take 10% and help somebody. We call it 30-30-30-10. So instead of you sitting down having mature conversations with yourself, this tree told you, we don't talk about that. No, we're going to talk about that because you're 17. And you need to know how this world works.
Yes.
Growing up, I went to a school here about 20 minutes from here. I went to Westlake High School, right? And, you know, I didn't come from, so Westlake was a merger of two schools. You had Westwood, you had Lakeshore, long story short. And a lot of people from both schools had some prominent parents, right? And it wasn't that my parents were prominent, we just weren't living like some of these kids that I ended up going to school with when the schools merged, right? So there was a couple of guys at school that, whether you would admit it or not, you was just like, dang, like, I ain't driving one of those. And I had a little car, but it wasn't that. Does that make sense? This is how when you get older, you start appreciating stuff. So you could just tell, like when he went out, like, let's put it this way. One of my friends had a Jag, and we in 10th grade.
Wow.
I'm like, okay, I see you. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my Toyota Corolla hatchback. No jealousy, just my parents couldn't give me a Jaguar. You understand what I'm saying? So all the girls, all that stuff, I mean, he had them, right? He's just like, hey, you know, boy, it ain't you, it's the car, boy, stop. No, I'm just cool. So everybody know about in high school, the cool kid? Yes. Okay. He hit me the other day. When I handed him $5,000 and the keys to a Hummer, he's the cool kid. I've elevated, now I'm not saying, don't miss the story, I'm not saying be all that. I'm saying I elevated my child to a guy that I used to look up to. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Now his friends are getting inspired. He's the person that's like, no man, y'all can come with me. We together. Like you gotta. I'm creating an example of what people like who was like me in school, because my friend inspired me. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So when I hang around his friends, I'm like, God, you can inspire some people, man. Start your business, be responsible. Here go your keys. Can't drive yet. You know what I'm saying? But you have a car. So every generation is supposed to what? And become an inspiration to a generation. So it hit me, I'm like, man, you the John Doe of my era. But I'm saying this, and he may have his headset on or whatever. You hear me? You hear me talk? Because I need you to hear this. I want you guys to understand. He said, Dad, homecoming is this week. I said, did you run for anything? It just came out. He's like, no. I said, I was just joking. I was like, what? You ain't popular? You know, I was messing with him. I was like, you ain't popular? Straight face. He said, Dad, I don't want to be popular. I was like, he said, I got my friends. I got my circle. I'm known with my crew. And that's enough for me. My man. I said, my man. He said, I want to be popular. I was like, what, you ain't popular? You ain't going to be homecoming king? Like that. He's like, I ain't got time for all that. He's like, I got my crew. I got my circle. And you know what I thought to myself? I said, keep it tight. Keep it tight. Because you're going to have people hating on you. You don't need all that. You see what I'm saying? I do the best I can to make sure when we lift that chart up, that's right, and he hit this, and I'm gone. These next generations right here, they got to start somewhere. That's why I do the business. I ain't doing it on these webinars and stuff I'm doing it to spread a message. And when you think like that, it's easy for me to hop out of bed and do a webinar for y'all real quick. It's easy for me to host this and make sure you got 6 feet signs and we a little uncomfortable, but that's fine. You got to get this gas to get you to the next level. All right, let me go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You have 3. Your freedom goal. So now we got goals, right? What's your freedom goal? Your freedom goal, of course, is the one when you are debt free. Now, this is going to sound like a crazy statement, but don't take it at face value. Don't attack that. That's going to happen. When I say don't attack that, don't take every dollar you got and be like, my goal is to get out of this house. That's my goal. No. Because if you allocate it properly, you can take some of your money and put it somewhere that's going to help that happen what? Faster. So when you start learning finances, you understand. It's psychological for some of you guys to be like, I'm at a 790, but I got to get in the 8s. That's just psychological. You're at a 790. It's just 8, just 8. Nigga, Jess said all the time, I'm right at 8. I'm like, you're 798, okay? Kristen, I gotta get them 8s. Hey, cool. I ain't saying don't. I'm just saying, like, you don't kill yourself. And just like the house, I'm not giving advice. I'm just giving you a mindset. Okay, I can chunk this at the house. Now, the house is installment debt, not revolving debt. You chunk your revolving debt. That's got to go. Revolving debt is credit cards and stuff like that. Installment debt is just a payment you're going to make for a certain amount of what? Time. Revolving debt, every day, daily interest is growing on the balance that you have outstanding. That's free money you're giving away. That's different. That's what I'm attacking, right? So, or should I if I'm putting all this extra money into that just so I can be debt free, what if I put some extra money into this and it pay for that?
Makes sense.
So when I say your freedom goal is number 3, that's where you don't owe anyone. But that happens with you working the business and setting these goals over time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. 4. Become an accredited investor.
Watch out now.
That's the ultimate goal. Become an accredited investor. An accredited investor is someone who makes $250,000 a year or is worth $1 million, not including home. Okay, you can't include your house. Your net worth is $1 million, but that's not your property. Make sense? That's how they, that's classified. Okay, that's classified. So here's why you want to become what's called an accredited investor. Now you're getting into different circles. Your broker will start calling you with things that by law he can't tell you because you don't qualify. Does that make sense? Now that you're accredited, you've shown $250K a year annually, or worth what? $1 million, not including home. You got it? Now, you ever heard money make money and the rich get rich? And all? It's true. Because now you're getting this call. Hey, Mr. Beane, we got an IPO coming up. Just so you know, your portfolio, you diversify well, but Nike is about to launch a new, I'm making something up, a new corporation under their thing, you know, and this is because it's on the inside. You see what I'm saying? Certain people having certain conversations, and they can only talk to accredited investors. They're asking you like, put me in for 60K. You see what I'm saying? Now that money grow to 720,000 because you're accredited. So your goal is to ultimately become accredited. Make sense?
Yes.
So now when you pique an interest and this person don't follow up and all that, do you care?
No.
See, when you care about all that because your vision's small. Right? Ain't nobody signed up. Hey, Stan got for 3 people. Your vision's too small. You're doing this for a long-term goal to become accredited. And believe it or not, becoming accredited is really a short-term goal. It's long on this paper. That's your short-term goal. It's long on this paper. That help?
Yes.
Everybody get themselves a hand? Yes. I gotta do better than that, better than that, better than that. Good. Good. So what we'll do, what time is it, guys?
12:25.
12:25? 12:30? We're gonna take a 10-minute break and get ready for Miss Cash, Flo, Kristen. All right, we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break. Y'all come back. Kai, give me some break music on number 1, please. 10-minute break. Come back, guys. We gotta make this quick. We gotta get at 2 o'clock. 10 minutes. Huh? Oh yeah, about his, you buying the roller? Yeah, and it's right.